I'm the board game captain, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 2-in-1 expansion to Secret Unknown Stuff Escape from Dulce. Now the 2-in-1 expansion comes with it comes with this box here, first of all. This will come shrink wrapped to a bunch of cards and maps and booklets, and in the box you're going to have lots of packs of cards, some new cardboard punch-out chits similar to the ones in the base game, some cardboard punch-out standees, again the same as the ones in the base game, tons of cards, new maps, new player character boards, tons of stuff in here. You rip open the pack, and what do you have? You've got the box with all the little bits in it, and you have lots of books and big folder cards and maps and such. So let's have a look and let's figure out what we've got in here. So first off, it says for the 2-in-1 expansion pack, you have 2 new characters. So the 2 new characters are Joey Fixit, who is a space chimp who was sent on a mission to space and developed sentience and a massive psychic ability. And you have Sir Reginald the Cleaver, who, similar to the samurai in the base set, is someone who was abducted by aliens during a previous age and has now been woken up in the base. Now, you could use these characters either in the base game, or you can use them in their special expansions that are in here. They each come with a cardboard punch-out standee to represent them in the game, and a little initiative tracker as per normal for in the game. Here are their initiative trackers. And then there are a bunch of bits of equipment that are obviously specially referenced to them that are for the 2 adventures that are built around them. So the specific adventures that are built around them are the Hidden Shrine of Umagatu. Now this one is specifically for Sir Reginald, and he takes a big part in the story here, and we have Joey Fixit's Wild Ride. Now in the case of each of these are like the little standalone adventures in the back of the main book in the base game, but there's a lot more to it. Each of those adventures is usually about 2 pages of information. Here you've got a ton of special cards and whatnot that you're going to add in specifically for this adventure, followed by the adventure itself, followed by, and this is my favorite addition overall to this game, storyline. There's a bunch of storyline bits that when certain things happen, for instance, in this case, after you're defeating your first encounter, or if another player is killed, or when you find the first key, you read storyline pieces that happen for that mission. Sometimes they're just fluff, but sometimes they give you some ideas of what you're going to need to do. Like when you find the first key in this one, Sir Reginald pipes up and says you need to find 2 more before you can enter Umagatu's dwelling, which, is pretty important because you're going to need to find all 3 keys, and that is where you get that bit of information, is you read the story bit after finding the first key. So there we have the 2 adventures, again, very similar to one another. Now, each of these adventures can be run on their own as a single standalone adventure, but they also, and this is something else I like, even though I think doing the standalone adventures by themselves are where I like this game the best, I like the variety they add in with this. And if you like the super epic, big, all-day affair game, these can be added into that to make it even larger. If you had both of these, and I imagine you're literally doing a all game in half the night type affair, but if you want that, that is an option. I personally would play these by themselves, mind you. Now, they each also come with their own map because each of them are a specific new area and playable only in this specific new map. So this is the map for the Umagatu game here. As you see, it is a cavernous map, and if you were to add it into the base game, you kind of teleport into this new area and have to do it as like a side mission before coming back. And the other one for Joey Fixit's Wild Ride is up on the surface. And this, if you add this to the base game, is added in at the end of the game. After you escape from Dulce base, you have more adventuring that goes on up on the surface. And if you play this by itself, you get to start with your characters, I believe at level 7, which is kind of cool. You get to level up your character before starting the game because you're going to need it, because the adventure is pretty tough. I like it. It's pretty tough though. Okay. Next, we've got a bunch of, like I said, a bunch of new cardboard chits for different things you find. Lots of new cardboard chits that for different things in the scenarios. We have new bosses. So for Umagatu's, the name of that mission is the Hidden Shrine of Umagatu. You have Umagatu. You have 4 versions of Umagatu, and for for a boss, he's pretty tough. He's on the tougher side. So Umagatu always has 3 armor and 20 hit points. He's pretty darn tough, and the various versions of him have different attacks. He has some basic attacks that give him either 3 green dice or 3 white dice, both of which are quite vicious. He has a couple attacks on some of his versions that are 2 white dice and a stun, which is pretty tough. And then he even has, I think it's only one version that gets this ability. Yeah, he's got one version of him that has an ability called Rally the Troops, where all Lizardmen, Commanders, and Umagatu regain 3 health each. So that version of him is a bit more defensive, but yeah, that is really tough. So you need to really gang up on him and do a lot of damage all at once when you're bringing him down, because the longer he's alive, the longer he's going to be healing himself. You want to gang up on each of the Lizardmen commanders in the room one at a time and bring them down first. You want to break his armor as quick as possible and then bring him down too. And just like a lot of the other bosses, he is immune to stun attacks. So being that you start at level 1 and level up during the course of this adventure, he's actually a pretty tough boss for that adventure, but fitting being he is the end boss of that entire adventure. And with the storyline, as you slowly build up towards fighting him, it actually seems pretty rewarding to me. I like this guy. He's a cool addition, and there is a cardboard standee for him there. And of course, also a initiative token for him to put him on the initiative track. Next, we have the boss for the Joey Fix-It's Wild Ride. The boss is the Tall Gray Commander. And now the Tall Gray Commander, which again, there is a cardboard standee for, of course. There is an initiative token, of course. And then there are 4 versions of him. And oh man. Now this guy, if you thought Umagatu was tough and you thought some of the other bosses are tough, this guy is really, really hard to kill. So he comes with 5 armor and 18 life, which is crazy difficult. Some of his basic attacks require him getting 3 of the reddish dice or 3 of the blue dice, or doing 2 red dice to all players. Also, he has a psi heal, and he is immune to all psi and stun attacks. Which, yeah, this guy is really tough. So you're going to want to come in with like lots of firepower, especially stuff that breaks armor. And you want to break his armor as quick as possible, because that 5 armor is crazy, crazy difficult to get through. He is a super formidable foe, but thankfully, again, for his main mission, you get to start at level 7 and level up even more from there. So hopefully you will strategically level up your character those 7 levels to get them some good abilities, to get extra attacks, to get and then find lots of really good equipment. And that brings me to the extra cards for this set. So these this set comes with extra cards that you get to mix in, and there are some really cool bits of equipment. So first, for the Umagatu game, you get to mix in lots of cool equipment. There's a shovel that has, it counts as a 1 white die weapon, but it also allows you to aid you in digging stuff up, which is a mechanic that gets used in that game. One of my favorite items in this is a Wizard's Beard, which gives you +1 mental and allows you to flip over 2 objective tokens per game level. This is a really, really cool item. I'm a big fan of the mace. It is 2 damage and a stun. This is a really good item. You've got a small crossbow. That one's pretty low level, not too impressive. But the heavy crossbow, being 2 green dice, makes it almost as good as a shotgun. The magic wand, which is a barbecue lighter with some sort of aerosol spray, is really cool because it does 2 of the experimental dice damage, but then it also does half damage to all other enemies in the same space. There is the bastard sword. This thing is great. It is 3 white dice of damage, but can only be given to someone at 4 strength. FYI, I haven't talked about the 2 characters yet, but Sir Reginald starts with 4 strength, so this is obviously made for him. There's a great weapon with a reference to Army of Darkness here, Bruce's Fist. It is a white die and stun damage. Then you've got a bunch of new armors. You've got leather armor, you've got chainmail armor, and in addition, you have plate armor. You have physical training, which can give your character +1 strength, and you have some healing poultices that are one-use items that heal 4 health. Overall, I would say there are some cool items in here. I like this new item deck for the Hidden Shrine of Umagatu. But even better than that is the item deck for the Joey Fixit's Wild Ride. Hard to remember the names. Now, Joey Fixit's Wild Ride, because you're dealing with much tougher enemies, comes with some crazy powerful weapons. There is an advanced laser pistol. It's a blue die, +2 damage, and an armor break. That is really good. Even better than that, you have the advanced plasma pistol. It is 2 blue dice, +2 damage, and an armor break. And even more amazing than that, you have the advanced sniper rifle with 4, count them, 4 green dice. And then as an upgrade to that magic wand, we have a full-on flamethrower. Basically does the same thing, but with 3 dice instead of 2, which is pretty amazing. And we have Nikola Tesla's tuning fork. It is 4 of the experimental weapon dice, and all enemies in the same space as the target take half damage. So this is the most upgraded version of those type of weapons. Then we've got some cool armor. We have Armored Desert Camo. One of my favorites, you have a black suit where you get to trick everyone into thinking you're the man in black, which gives you for 1 turn of combat 11 initiative, which is really great. And lots of other, this one has a lot of really cool items. There's a fanny pack of holding, very funny item, great Dungeons & Dragons reference there. There's a magic 8-ball, lots of cool items. There are banana peels. Really cool stuff. I think this is the better, definitely the better of the 2 decks, but also I think it should be because it has the harder of the 2 bosses. And finally, we have the encounter decks. Now, in addition to adding in some storyline in the adventures, the encounter decks are really cool, and there's some great stuff in here that is very different from the kinds of encounters in the basic decks. For instance, I love this one here, the Lizard Man Market. After you save a Lizard Man shop owner from being harassed by some bad guys, you can trade him items, superfluous like weapon and medkit items, to get stuff from him. He'll give you rewards, which is, I think that's really, really awesome. And there's even encounters in here where you get to do stuff that is not a fight at all. There's, I'm looking for it now, but I know there's an encounter in here where you come across a guy who wants you to play a, here it is, a janitor who wants you to play a game with him, and you roll a skill check to see if you succeed, and if you succeed, you will get the, you get to flip one of the objective tokens over and see what it is, but if you fail, the alarm goes up 3 levels. And there's no actual fight in this. It's a completely different sort of encounter than any of the ones I've seen in the base game so far, so it's kind of really neat. Okay, that's everything that we got in here. Let's do some downs and some ups. What's not so good, what's pretty awesome about getting the 2-in-1 expansion pack. So downsides. First downside I have, now this is gonna, and I forgot to kind of talk about the characters here. The characters are really cool. I really like the characters. Joey Fixit has a 4 in his mental, which means if he gets psychic abilities, he's gonna be really powerful. And also he is an item finding character, and he's really quick to go up levels. He gets to level 2 at only 6 experience. And then another 8 experience to get to level 3. He also can use melee, alien, and experimental weapons, as well as light, medium, and alien armor. And his abilities are great, and he's got this really cool ability where he goes chip on your face, and he can jump on someone, do damage, and stun them. Really awesome. His only downside is he's only got a speed of 2, and that sticks through in regard to the only downside for Sir Reginald, who is one of the best melee characters in the game. Again, though, with only a speed of 2. So he's got a lack of speed for getting to go first and only gets to take 2 actions each round, even though, generally speaking, he gets to do a cool power swing ability where he gets to add 1 damage die to his melee weapon for 1 attack in 1 attack with the melee weapon once per encounter. And that is really cool, but he gets less attacks because he's only got 2 actions, and he can only use melee weapons in the case of him, and for abilities can only get weapon upgrades, armor, or athletic upgrades. So these are really cool, but now the downside for them, and this is going to be my first downside, is they only have cardboard standees in here, which makes them stick out a little bit in not fitting in with the characters from the base set who all have miniatures. The same downside carries over to the bosses, who also only have cardboard standees. The bosses in the base set also have cardboard standees, but usually are only used for if you have more than one of the same boss out at a time, because they all also have miniatures. So no miniatures in this set. Now, it's not that they need miniatures. It just feels to me like that doesn't fit in well, you know, consistency-wise with the base set. So I do have a bit of a gripe on that. My second gripe is there are some storyline bits, and I do really like the storyline bits, but there are some storyline bits in these adventures that reference when you find certain items. And those items don't have any kind of little, hey, by the way, check the book for a storyline piece on them. So if you forget, you might forget to read said storyline bit. That's a minor gripe, but it is one that I think is valid. My third and final gripe for these expansions is storage. So it comes with this tiny little box, and you can fit all of the counters and the cards in here and the little standees, and that's fine, but you're not fitting the giant, you know, these things in here. Now you could maybe fit, because they are flat, you could maybe fit these in the base set. But then this is probably not going to fit in the base set. The base set's already pretty stuffed full, and you're not going to get this box in there. So you'll probably have this little box maybe on top of the base set. This is a minor gripe, but I would have liked either more room in the base set to future-proof it for expansions, which it doesn't have, or maybe, you know, its own little box big enough for everything to fit in. This box is just not big enough for everything to fit in. So those are my gripes. And overall, I'm going to say my gripes are pretty minor, because here are my positives. So positive number one, variety. This adds a lot more variety. You've got 2 new characters, and they are good without being overpowered. Their main Achilles heels is both of them only have a speed of 2, which really restricts them. You have 2 new self-contained missions, and both of them have all of those storyline bits, which those are really cool. In those new missions, you have brand new bosses that require different sorts of strategies to fight them. When playing those missions, you have tons of new equipment and tons of new encounters that you're going to run to that are different than the base game, and some of them are very different. So again, variety is really what I'm talking about here in regard to what is great about the 2-in-1 expansion pack. My gripes are valid, but they are far lesser than the things I am raving about here. Oh, and I almost forgot to say again, new maps. New maps is great. Also a variety in the way you can use these. You can play these as their own self-contained missions, or you can actually add them into the giant epic game and make that go even longer. Okay, so bottom line, where am I at with this? So now, you may recall that when I rated Secret Unknown Stuff Escape from Dulce, I had given it 8 stars because I thought it was pretty darn good. Now, here's the thing. Taking for granted that you're obviously already a fan of Secret Unknown Stuff Escape from Dulce, and you're wondering, should you get the 2-in-1 expansion pack in addition to the base game? Should you get this for more content? The answer is resounding yes. You should get this if you like Secret Unknown Stuff Escape from Dulce. I'm going to give this a whole half point higher. I'm going to give it 8.5 stars out of 10. And the reason is I not only really appreciate the new variety, new items, new characters, new bosses, but I really like that the 2 new missions have storyline added to them, which makes it not just another set of objectives to achieve. It's not just get from point A to point B and beat the boss and find the item, etc. You actually have some storyline that goes along with it, and that is fantastic. So yeah, this is big thumbs up for me here. I really enjoy this expansion set. I think it's a really good addition to Secret Unknown Stuff Escape from Dulce. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, either on the 2-in-1 expansion pack or this video, feel free to put them in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this review and you'd like to see me do more like it, be sure to give this video a like, share it on all forms of social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Kaptain. That's Kaptain spelled with a K on YouTube, and hit that little bell icon so you get alerts every time I upload a new video. And until next time, game on.